So I just saw this video that said every channel needs an intro coffee shot, and I don't think I've ever had one. So here it is. Dunkin', if you're wondering. So the coffee break's over, time to get down to business. Today's video is the FMS FJ Cruiser. This is an 18 scale, ready to run rock crawler, and pretty much everything you need to get going is in this box. This is a hard body crawler, 4-wheel drive, and it has a killer look. I do like the FJ. Actually considered buying one myself before I bought my Jeep Gladiator. Didn't tell my wife that. She likes the Gladiator now, but this is a really cool car for Toyota fanatics. And we're not gonna go crazy into detail with this thing. I'm gonna unbox it, show you some of the cool features. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is we already reviewed the Land Cruiser. It's pretty much the same car, just different body. Had a lot of fun with that car, so I'm looking forward to driving this car and seeing how it looks on the trails. All right, let's get this thing out of the box. Wow, the FJ is a great looking rig. FMS has been pumping out some really cool releases lately, and this FJ is no exception. Look at all the detail on this thing. It's a hard body, we've got clear windows. The roof here, I believe that's a separate piece, and it snaps in so well, you can't even tell that it is a separate piece. You kind of think it's painted. Check out the roof rack up top like that. Even the side mirrors here are very scale with the light indicators on the front. We've got glass mirrors on the sides. I mean, just serious detail. Triple wipers up front, check that out. And this snorkel, this looks a little large. I don't know, let's see, we've got some nice looking fender flares here, but this snorkel is like the size of the fender flare. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. Let's see, what else we got? We've got painted door handles. No, actually, those are separate pieces glued into place. That is really cool. Check it out, third brake light up top. We've got nice transparent tail lights as well. Look at that license plate, even chrome decals for the Toyota back here, little ladder rack up to the roof. And this thing just has all the right details everywhere. Check out that scale looking rear bumper. Full-size spare out back as well, and these are beadlock wheels and really nice looking tires. What are they called? The Terraz tires. Really neat looking tire. It kind of looks like an MTR, I believe, but feels pretty good and does feel solid on the wheels. Check out those wheels. Nice 5-spoke black wheels. Really gives this truck a neat custom look. Check out the steps on the sides, and then this really aggressive front bumper like that with the lights up front. These don't have LEDs though. That would have been really nice if these had LEDs. Check out the skid plate on the bottom, but there are LEDs elsewhere. We got them in the headlights and turn signals and brake lights, and you could actually operate those on the transmitter. Like everything about the detail of this car. I bet you it's gonna look really good. I don't know, maybe driving around your living room and definitely out on the trails. All right, quick dive into the chassis here. We have aluminum rails, center skid. We've got 4-link suspension, and they are friction shocks, coil shocks. It says tuned on the box, but we just got some springs here. This thing is kind of bouncy, but we know that about FMS. Let's see, we've got scale looking axles. They do have bearings on the inside. I was able to tell that by looking at the front. There's a CV drive shaft peeking out there. So I think the drive line is built really well. The transmission is a high torque setup. 050 motor bolted to it. I'm kind of skipping around, but this is stuff I've gone over in the other video. I really recommend checking it out if you want to know all the details. Electronics wise, we've got an FMS chassis mounted servo bolted to the front, simple steering linkage, and then the magic happens under the hood here. This is where you access your speed controller and your on off switch. Pop that open there, and as you can see, there's the switch over here. The battery tucks in under the dashboard, and there is the speed controller receiver unit. Also the light control module, all in that one board. You can see all the wires pretty nicely laid out. Just a few straggling around here, but it's under the hood. That'll get closed up, you won't even see it. And the only other thing to really talk about is the interior. It's got a full interior, front seats, back seats, dashboard, foot pedal, steering wheel. This thing is fully loaded. I guess if you wanted to, you could take it and tear it down and detail it out some more. Maybe, you know, add some color to the seats or interior or whatever. But this is a great looking rig. It looks like it's gotta be a lot of fun. Let me just show you what else comes in the kit. So we've got this little baggie here with the USB charger. little cross wrench in case you need to take off the wheels, and then the transmitter. Here's the transmitter right here. Pretty comfortable radio system for it, foam wheel on there. We've got all of our trim features under this panel. Here we go. And it looks like it's actually a 6-channel radio. It goes all the way up to CH6 over here. Steering trim and throttle trim up here as well. So all you gotta do is get some batteries for this and install them through the bottom here. Charge up the battery pack that is in the truck and head out and have some fun. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Let's go drive the FJ. So I was really dead set on doing some outdoor crawling with the FJ and wound up driving to a few parks. It's December right now, everything's covered in leaves, and finally found the location that you saw in the action video and had a great time with the rig there. It's a lot of fun to drive, just like the LC80. This thing does really well. For a small scale vehicle, it's pretty impressive what this thing can crawl. It does have its limitations, but it does do well. Now, I think this one crawled just a little bit better than the LC80. Maybe it's just me, maybe I was just enjoying this too much. Maybe it's because the wheelbase is just slightly longer on this one than the LC80, but nonetheless, it's a great driving rig. The steering is just fine on it for crawling around, you know, low obstacles, over dirt, low gravel and stuff like that. This thing will just steer wherever. But if you get caught up in a gap and if you're relying on the steering to kind of wiggle you free, that's when you'll notice the steering servo stall out on you. So again, it does have its limitations. Handling wise, it handles really well. It's cool to watch the articulation over the rocks. It does crawl up rocks fairly well. You'll notice that the speed controller does jitter a little bit. It's trying to maintain a speed, but you know, it does have its limitations there. I mean, everything is going through that one circuit board in the front. So all that considering, you know, it's handling the lights, it's handling the receiver, it's handling the speed controller, all on that one board. It does pretty well. The only thing I don't like about the suspension, and I said this in the LC80, is the friction dampers, the spring shocks on it. There is no resistance to them, so this thing just bounces around. That's something we're all aware of on these vehicles, and hopefully FMS is watching and they offer some option parts for that soon, just to bolt on nice and easily. I did start to put some RC four-wheel drive shocks on my LC80. The parts that I ordered never showed up, and I kind of had to move on from the project. I really need to get back to that and maybe do a small video on it. But nonetheless, this thing is a lot of fun. I did notice that the radio system does have headlights on the front of it. I thought that was pretty neat. I didn't notice that before, but when you turn this thing on, I'll do it right now. Look at that, it's got headlights up front. That's pretty neat. But the thing is I was reading, I think the box art says channel 4 is the LED lights, and that's not the case. There's actually an LED light button in here, which is also your throttle trim. So you have to use the mode switch to toggle back and forth between two different modes if you want to adjust throttle trim or adjust your LED lights. And the other downside about the LED lights are the turn signals always come on when you turn with it, but after a while I got used to it. The headlights on here do look pretty good. The tail lights light up when you go in reverse, and I still wish they had LED lights in the fog lights up front. But if you are a Toyota FJ fan, this is definitely a must-have, or just a small scale crawler fan that loves absolutely detailed models. They just went all out on this rig, and it's a blast to drive. It looks awesome. All right, I will have links to the description below so you could go and grab one of these things from Horizon Hobby. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like. We'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.